I was gonna say, why don't we get into some of the big topics we got for here tonight?
Oh yeah. Ooh.
How about let's just start with Last of Us, just because I know you want to talk about Andor, but I feel like that would be a better way to go
Yeah, that's a good lead
into all
in.
the Star Wars stuff. So, all right, Last of Us season 2 just had their third
Spoilers.
episode this
Spoilers,
past
spoilers,
weekend.
spoilers.
Oh yeah, spoiler. Do I still have it? I still have it. Spoiler warning for anybody who has not seen Last of Us season 2 or just the Last of Us
Played
series
it.
in general. If you haven't played the
Turn
games,
around, come back later.
one, it's been a few years, so kind of like a shame on you at this point. Like it's not really our bad if we spoil something for you at this point, because it's been for Last of Us Part 2, it's been like 5 years, so that we're kind of beyond that point. But for
I'm
the
surprised I wasn't spoiled for some of the things. Holy shit.
I mean, and it got leaked too. We have to remember that in 2020 it got leaked right before the game came out,
I
and
think
that's
I
why I
purposely
got
was like,
hand. I don't. Yeah.
yeah.
So you have been warned. This is the last spoiler warning for Last of Us season 2.
Dylan,
Woo!
you son of a bitch.
Okay, all right.
Boy, they did not wait.
Uh, remember, spoiler. That's it. Okay. No. Yes, the death of. You're gonna hear my name a lot now this season. Death of Joel. They just did it. They didn't extend it. It was pretty raw. They just did it. They went into it. Um, I have one little gripe, but yeah, they did it. They didn't shy away. Everyone knew it was coming. I shouldn't say everyone. One of our buddies, who you know, Chris, he didn't know Joel dies. Like he has avoided it
Really?
all this time. Yeah, he's like, he's got to be alive. So I was like, brother, no, he ain't coming
brother,
back, man.
brother, nah.
That was like, oh shit, it just never, like I knew
That's
a while
cool.
ago watching you play it, when you streamed it a million years ago. I was like, oh shit, he dies, and then like I, just fell off. He was like,
Yeah.
he didn't see it coming, which was like, oh, that's fucking crazy, like, yeah, they did it, and it was not unreasonable. It didn't feel out of left field. Not that it did in the game. In the game, of course, they kind of have to rush things. They kind of like pigeonhole it a little. I think it felt semi-natural on top of the new stuff they did, right? Jackson, the city gets attacked by like a
Yeah, that
zombie
was
horde.
interesting.
Yeah, a very Game of Thrones White Walker attack.
So just to jump off of that, because you brought up a very good point with like the changes. How do you feel that they swapped out Tommy for Dina
I think
for Joel?
I think it works. Because Tommy, he has a job and they've established him at Jackson. And I think with
He's a
Dina's
dad.
connection, yeah, Dina's connection, like they show she has a little bit of a rapport with Joel, and she's getting to know Ellie. It kind of makes sense, like TV wise. And she's like, young blood, there to help. Joel's getting old. He needs someone like Dina. Tommy, he's not as, I mean, he's almost as old as Joel, but he's
Younger.
again, he's
Yeah.
leading the city, right? He's got a job to do. He'll always, be there for his brother when he can be, but it felt natural to me. I didn't mind. And I think honestly, like it felt when I played, I was like, Tommy's just here already, and so it flowed well to me. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't have a problem with it. It was just more of like an interesting choice, because like I was saying, I just played through it like 2 days ago, and like the whole idea was like, okay, well, Joel and Tommy went out to survey the area and stuff like that, and that's kind of like what happened here, except with Tommy it was Dina. It is very interesting that they went with the whole attack on Jackson, because for people that didn't play the game, spoiler again, but that never happened. The infected attack on Jackson was never a thing. I saw some people kind of not really complain about, but like are getting worried that like, oh no, they're like deadifying the show a little bit because like they had to like throw in this to have infected or like a bigger infected presence. But I think with how the adaptation is going, it did help, especially in hindsight for episode two, because episode two, well, not episode two, actually, I should say episode three. It does a lot for episode three
It does.
because we get to see a lot more of what Lincoln is, or it's not Lincoln, what Jackson is. Because arguably, we don't really spend a lot of time in Jackson in the games. Like
Say
we,
like not even an hour, really.
like we have the beginning, and then we get sent out like twice, and then once you leave for Seattle, that's it. Like Jackson is gone forever.
Yeah.
So it, and especially now that like Tommy has like a very different role. Like you said, he is, a leader. He's also a father. He wasn't a father in the games, so he has this version of Tommy has more to lose, but like he still is the same guy as far as like, he's there for Joel. Like he would do anything for Joel, but like he knows that he means a lot more to the town at this point than going to get revenge. And I think that's what
At least so far.
at least so far. But I think that's what the main focus of the show is going to be more about, is that, I mean, the game was kind of like the same too, where, try not to like have revenge take control of you. Like try to like forgive and forget, but like not in the sense of like, oh, we're just not gonna like acknowledge how like fucked up like the whole thing with Joel was. But at the same time, it's like, well, this character needs to think more critically and needs to think about the bigger picture. And it kind of helps focus what is happening, at least with Ellie and Abby, at least I think. Because Ellie and Abby are like the epitome of like revenge. Like revenge corrupts, and revenge like fucks with the mind a whole bunch. And I know some of the critiques are going to be like, well, it's like the game, doesn't have to keep throwing reminders about like what the story is. It's like, well, yeah, but also at the same time, this is a different medium. Different mediums have to do things a different way because a video game has your attention because you're playing it. Shows and like movies have to do it differently because, let's be honest, how much of a percentage of people are going to be watching the show and also on their phone, like click and clacking away on their phone? A lot. So, but I don't know about you, Joel, but I don't think how they're going about telling the themes of this story so far, it's only been 3 episodes so far. I don't think they're doing a bad job about it. It's just different.
No, there's also the problem with Star Wars. Like some fans can't let go, for better or for worse. Like, yeah, of course, let's acknowledge the bad things, and there's still some good to be celebrated. We aren't even like done yet, and people are already super hard on it, which is fair. We've sat with the game for 5 years, but also we've sat with the game for like 5 years. It's time we can move on and let's try something new too. And well, also the game didn't do, because we talked about the Jackson fight, which is really cool. The pipes are fucked up, right? And they use it for stuff. And they show like the mycelium, or the shit in the pipes is like infecting and growing. It's like, oh shit, Jackson is gonna fall in more than one way, probably. And maybe there'll be like a reckoning or something. I don't know. But what I said to my wife, I was like, oh shit, the guy who's going to worry about the pipes, we don't know where he is. He's fucking gone. So it's just funny. Like, it's like, hey, the pipes. It's like, oh shit, we're under attack. We don't give a shit about what's in the pipes right now. So yeah, that's going to be interesting. And I think also, like, again, like you said, a game has your attention. With the show, we're purposely are sitting with it. We got to wait. And again, just wait to see what happens, and what if they make changes, that are good. I'm spoiled by the first season where we got that really beautiful episode with a prepper and his husband or
Oh,
whatever.
Bill. Yeah.
Yeah, Bill. I'm expecting something like that. I want a total 180 exploration on one of the characters.
Well, I mean,
Um,
not to the same degree, but we kind of got that with what was his name? Was it Seth? The
yeah, I don't like that they did that, but I can get why.
well, yeah, it's take it or leave it, because it's at the end of the day it's like a whatever kind of thing, but it's still
Yeah.
showing that they're willing to take characters and kind of push them further than what they already were.
Yeah.
And like we could already say that about the characters we know, but like it would be, like you said, it would be very interesting to see, like, will we get a little bit more time with some of the other WLF people, like Abby's crew. Like we kind of see them a little bit when like you're playing as Abby and stuff, but it's like we don't really know a lot about them, at least as far as like on the surface level goes.
Yeah.
So it definitely, we could see a lot of interesting things. I want to give them props for the stalker.
Oh yeah,
Scene.
that was a good explanation. For us who've played 2, we get this new unit or enemy that's pretty annoying and scary in many ways. And they incorporate in a way for TV, like, hey, there's a new cordyceps. It's smarter, it's actually can like see you,
It senses danger.
Right? So for us, it's like, oh, new enemy type, be aware, we're thrown in the situation. Now it's like we're all thrown in it and we're all figuring it out together. And I just thought like they did it well. And they did it within the first episode, We don't see stalkers until like, I don't know, level 6 or 7. Like
far into this, because at this point I still haven't seen stalkers, and like just getting to Seattle, like you don't really get heavy into like the big bads until later in the game.
Yeah. So I think they did it well. Also, they're already like teasing us like, hey, they're probably going to be here sooner rather than later. So that's going to be pretty wild to see.
It was interesting that because the whole horde that attacked Jackson, like they tied in what happens with Abby on the mountain, right? Because like there's in the game there's a pretty good group of infected that come about when Abby is trekking down the mountain. It was just very interesting to see how they literally like scaled up the holy shit factor with like having some of them like in the ground, like how it was in the game. But then like I think it was like the first episode where like they had just slightly mentioned, it's like, oh yeah, there's like reports saying that there's a bunch of there could be a bunch of infected like in the ground, like there's like
a worm or some shit, like, oh
yeah. God. And then like the earth just starts to move like underneath all of them. They all start to fucking crawl out, and like that was a really cool image.
Yeah.
And then of course Tommy having to fight off that one bloater.
That was cool. We don't ever play as Tommy in the actual like regular game.
Yeah.
So it's cool to see him get, some action. And I was like, damn, a flamethrower usually fucks up a bloater pretty fast. This is like a super strong one. Holy shit.
Super roasted mushroom.
Right. And it's like, coming in, I was like, and then it falls. I was like, oh my God. Fuck. Jesus.
So the whole scene with Joel kind of meeting his end kind of deal, I thought it was a very interesting choice to not have Ellie pass out and then get that extra little moment with Joel, like just to kind of add in that little bit, a little more of a sting. But I think it helps because I've seen plenty of other people talk about this, but it was very evident in the first season. We're getting slight variations of the main characters here because like the Ellie that we see, like the Bella Ramsey Ellie that we see in the show, is a very much more angry, I guess is a better way, a very much more angry Ellie. Like, not that she's not angry in the game, but like Ellie still has a little bit of that, not like softer side, but she's definitely a more sadder character in the game than she is in the show. So
I feel that way in the first one for sure. For sure. I feel
yeah.
that part.
But so it was very interesting to have this extra bit of time, especially in Jackson, for Ellie, and then having that moment with Joel, and then also just like the horse ride back, and like we get to see Ellie throughout this whole process that we didn't before, because in the game after Ellie passes out, the next thing you see is like a little while later and she's already at the grave, where that doesn't happen until like the end of episode 3. Like things are a little bit kind of shifted around just for plot reasons, but it's like we don't get to see her really go through it, you know. Not saying that it's something that's necessary, but it was very interesting difference to see you know, Ellie processing or not even processing, but just kind of like the PTSD like ish kind of thing, because like what at beginning of episode 3, like when Ellie like comes to in like the hospital, like she is still there, like she is still in the lodge, like at that point. So it's like the moment of her crawling to Joel, that's where her brain shuts off, but like her body is still like just, she's there. Yeah. So it was to me, it was a very powerful kind of representation of just like your body just like going on autopilot, and it's like, you know, trying to deal with this like big, huge like moment in time.
In the game, is there a flash forward? I don't remember after the Joel incident.
It like says like it's like a little time has passed, because like, you know, like I don't think, because I'm trying to remember, I don't think it was 3 months like it was in the show.
I thought that was interesting, but it makes sense. They're rebuilding.
But then again, like Ellie didn't get as beat up as she does in the show. Like Ellie gets the shit kicked out of her in the show.
Yeah.
Like Ellie only gets like kicked one, like kind of like just kicked in the gut once, and then just gets knocked out.
Yeah.
You know, so like she's still kind of like a little bit of time has passed, but like it's still like you can tell that it's in the transition to like winter to spring. Yeah. So it may have been like a month or so, but it's like not as much. I don't think not as much as the show did. Yeah. We did get to see a little glimpse of the Seraphites already.
Yeah, and I like how they're painting a picture of them in the show versus how we first kind of run into them as Abby, you know, and what that means for her and what's going to happen. And I didn't honestly expect to see them in episode 3 already, so it's a nice kind of treat for us. And you know, we kind of understand, and they're already laying the groundwork at the end of the episode 3. Like the Seraphites and the WLF are going at it, you know, and you know, they know prisoners. And I was wondering if they, because in the game, they talk about the prophet, but we never meet them. They're already dead. I was wondering if they're going to change that. I was like, oh no, she's been dead. So it's the
No,
same thing. It's like, okay. So that's kind of cool. But yeah, it's just interesting. You know, they're
I
scarred up. They still got the leather and all that. And
the same kind of thing. I do find it interesting that they went as far as the details. Like, oh, they know that the prophet is dead,
yeah,
but they're still carrying on like the doctrine,
yeah.
as it were. So it's because I don't know about you, but like in the game, it kind of made it feel like it was like a blind, like it was like the Emperor in fucking Warhammer.
Oh yeah,
It's like
it's culty.
the Emperor's dead, but like we still praise the Emperor. It's like still the body is still there, kind of thing. But no, like it's like no, it's like we know that she's dead, but we're still living this lifestyle because we believe in it, and that's how we choose to live. I'm not worried yet, but it is starting to. I am starting to be more and more intrigued how they're going to do the flip at some point,
Oh yeah, me too.
because
That's what I'm thinking about.
we're getting more information than we kind of did, and
Oh
so
yeah,
like as of right now, it's like, oh, the WLF is like these bad motherfuckers, and for the most part they are, but I mean like. I'm very intrigued to see it at what point, at the point when we get Abby's turn,
yeah,
and how they go about it, especially with how like much like ahead of time we're being like shown like, no, this like WLF is not to be fucked with, like they are
yeah. I think we
enemy
kind of
number
got hints of
one.
that with the like upcoming episode a little bit.
Dude, the ending of the episode of this past episode
Oh yeah,
with like the army marching down the street.
WLF baby with their fucking armored vehicle shit.
Like I know there's a lot of them like in the game, but like this felt like, nah, they're gonna like they're on a grand scale, like they're a big
I mean,
level threat in
I would
this.
say they were, you know, in the game because they have a whole stadium they're occupying and living in, and they have a whole compound. They have animals, a farm. But yeah, like I'm glad you brought it up because I was saying like, when are we gonna get the like, we were right, we're ride or die for Ellie. All of a sudden, like, why the fuck are we with Abby? And it's like, oh shit, I see what you're doing here. Like with Abby and Lev and what they go through, and we're still
Yeah,
gonna see Abby still a person. She still had her family. Joel took that from her, and of course she wants revenge. And then the cycle just explodes.
yeah. Um, but overall, I've been enjoying myself with this season so far. I just want to ask you, Joel, now that we're kind of teeing up, like, okay, they've made it to Seattle, like we're in we're in the big time now. Like this is where everything
Oh
starts to
yeah,
just kind of
yeah.
go
The
forward. What?
avalanche of fucking
Because I
revenge.
think like what we only have,
It's like, is it 8 or 9 episodes?
it's 8 episodes, so we have like
Damn.
5
No wonder they did
left.
2 seasons. But they could also like jam a lot in an hour too.
Is there anything is there anything you want to see? I should say that. Is there anything you want to see in this
What
coming
do I
up?
want to see this season?
Yeah.
Hmm. I mean, me and my partner were talking about it, but just they keep talking about Eugene, Eugene, Eugene. I want to see why Joel kills Eugene. I think we're gonna know why, but like that explored for sure. But um, for sure from the game, I do want to see this season. At the very least, they don't have to go in the fucking like skyscrapers together, but Abby and Lev, their team up. I don't even know if they're still gonna do that. I don't even know if that's possible. And then
Probably not this season.
I feel like
Like,
we could meet Rat King by the end, because Rat King is I feel pretty far in, but the rate they're going, I feel like it's not impossible to like kind of put him at right there at the end, and we know we're semi rooting for Abby. What do you think?
because I think from what I saw in like the ep like like next week on like, you know, Last of Us kind of thing, the preview.
Yeah.
It seems like they're gonna make it to the theater in the next episode,
Yeah.
which is going to be like their home base for a little bit of bad amount of time. Do you do you think that Sarah's in the background? But do you think that we could get all the way up to the confrontation in the theater with Abby?
Oh man,
Like,
I
do
feel
we
like
see
it
do we see the end of this season with Jesse fucking
oh
out?
yeah, I definitely that's seeing young Manzino, I was like, damn, he's doing this too good. I'm gonna cry.
Also,
like
by the way, perfect casting. He is
Yeah.
like, it is shocking how like point for point this guy is just Jesse.
yeah, a little more beefed up than Jesse, but yeah, beefy Manzino over here. I think if it's not Rat King, it's that. But at the same time, it could be that theater confrontation, and then boom, like Abby's fucking shit up. I don't know. Like it's
I guess it just all depends on how they're plotting this out, because we don't
Yeah.
know if they're going to be doing we're going to show you a bit of Abby and a bit of Ellie at the same time, or like how
Yeah.
much how isolated are these things going to be? We don't know.
Or maybe it'll be like 3 more episodes with Ellie, and then kind of like the game, 3 more episodes with Abby. Like we might. What if we end with Abby and then start with Ellie and Abby season 3? Like it's literally boom boom right there. It just sets it off.
Fuck, dude.
There's so much they could do and play with. At the same time, they could change so much too, right? Um,
Mm-hmm.
Thinking way far ahead. I'm just for those who don't know, this is a big spoiler. If you don't want to know, turn off your phone for like 30 seconds. But it just Tommy fucking setting it off again. I'm wondering if it's going to be someone else or if it's still going to be him. And like, are they going to throw him so much shit that he goes through it? Like, because just like that part of the game, I was like, man, you piece of shit. Like they've like kind of
Yeah.
found peace, and here you come in like all fucked up. But I mean, at the same time, that's what it shows. Like revenge, like that's all he's warped by it. That's his life. That's his poison. And
It'll be interesting because unless if it's a feeling of guilt, like,
kind of touched on that
It's-
a little bit. I feel.
is it possible that Tommy doesn't go to Seattle?
It could be someone else. Yeah.
It could just be Jesse. Because in the video game, Tommy leaves before Ellie and Dina do.
This
Like
is true.
Tommy
We chased
Tommy just left,
Yeah.
right? So at this point, Tommy's, as far as we know, he's still in Jackson.
Yeah.
And we know at some point after Ellie and Dina leave, like Jesse comes pretty close behind them.
Yeah.
Like he
comes
clues
running
in,
really.
he clues in, and he's
Yeah.
like there like maybe like a day or so after.
Yeah.
But is it possible that we just don't get Tommy?
It is possible.
Which could make it even more fucked up if he tries to guilt Ellie later. Because it's like he feels guilty because he didn't do anything about it, and
It's true.
Jesse died, Joel's dead.
Yeah.
You know,
Ellie's fucked up. Dina's getting fucked up.
and it's like we can already tell, at least by the third episode, like, you know, Jesse became, you know, part of the council of like of the community.
So, big player already.
And like he and Tommy are like, at least from what it looked like they had like, you know, a better relationship just because they've been working together a lot because of
Yeah,
that. So it's like, do you hold Tommy back for most of Seattle? Have Jesse still go through the motions of like the game to have Tommy be more of a character of regret and like using that to kind of guilt Ellie back to was Santa Barbara.
Ugh.
Was it Santa Barbara? No, where
It's like California, Santa Barbara, somewhere like that.
Okay. But yeah, that would be
That's awful.
that. Yeah, that would be
Apologies.
so fucked up. But I don't know.
Man, fuck
It's
you.
like
Fuck you,
just
Tommy.
like Tommy could just be guilty that he, because that's the thing. We also don't know who said yes or no, because
That's true.
in episode 3, like the council had a vote if they wanted to send people after Abby and her gang, and it was like 3 yeses
Yeah.
out of like 10 people, I think.
Yeah.
And I was just kind of reading the body language of everybody, and it's like, I think, you know, Tommy is a guy of his word, at least when it comes to like the people he cares about. So I feel like he said yes. And the prep speech that Ellie gave probably would have won Mary over.
Maria?
Or Maria, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Would
That's what they
have
were
won.
saying in the post credits. Like that's because she's a prosecutor. It probably did win her over.
But I looked at the body language of Jesse, and after he passed his vote over, he was sitting there with his arms crossed, and he was just kind of like leaned back, and he's just like not really looking. Like his head was still kind of pointing forward, but like you could tell he's kind of looking down.
Yeah.
I have a feeling that he might have voted no,
I mean, he wants to keep his people safe still too, right? I think
or he wants to keep Ellie
is,
safe.
right? He's Ellie's and Dina's, friend first, and then like a council person. So he's probably like, and maybe he's balancing that now. Like it's like, I have a city to look after, and you guys are that city. Like I want you guys to stay here. I mean, it doesn't stop him, right? It was never going to, but
Yeah. But it was just that little like, you know, but like body posture and just kind of like demeanor that like, I was like, you said no, didn't you? Which might make it even like more tragic. Like when eventually, because like you said, he's a friend first.
yeah,
And it's like, he knows if Ellie was going to go, Dina was going to go. So it's like, well, fuck, I have to go
yeah,
like help both of them. And
the prize,
damn.
prize.
I don't know. It's going to be very interesting. The next few weeks are going to be very interesting. And
I'm very curious to see what they do, and the fact that we're still getting a season 3 is like kind of mind blowing to me. But I could see like we there's so much story to tell, and for those who just who don't know the story, it's going to be like, to me at least, double fascinating to see how they view it. Like our buddy Chris, like he didn't know Joel was gonna die. Like I still think that's wild.
like, not on camera, but just like in a friendly manner. I would love to see what he thinks about this, because just like to have like just like those blind like blank slate perspective on this whole show.
Yeah.
Especially after like episode 2.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, I'm excited. I love this. I love this franchise at this point.
It's so good.
It hurts so good. It makes you think. Whether that's a good or bad thing, I don't know.